Okay, so what if the best way to fight poverty wasn't just a handout, but a whole system? That's the big question we're diving into today with the Pakistan Poverty Alleviation Fund, or PPAF. It's this incredible organization that has spent decades refining a really unique, data driven model to answer one of the toughest challenges out there. So let's just take a second and try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this, right? We're talking about a nation with over 240 million people. So, how in the world do you even begin to solve a problem that is that big, that complex, and that deeply rooted? I mean, where do you even start? Well, the numbers, they're pretty staggering. A recent World Bank report found that a massive 45% of Pakistan's population is living below the poverty line. Now, that's not just a number on a slide. That's nearly half the country. Millions and millions of people facing hardship every single day. To tackle this problem head on, Pakistan created a totally different kind of organization way back in 1997. The whole goal was to build something that wasn't just another charity, but a real, sustainable engine for change. And here is the key idea. This is so smart. PPFA was designed as what's called an apex institution. Just think of it like a central hub, or maybe a bridge. Its whole job is to take huge funds from international donors and the government and funnel them directly to these small, trusted organizations that are already working on the ground. This solves that massive last-mile problem of actually getting help to where it is needed the most. And this slide, wow, it really lays out the whole philosophy. On one side, you've got your traditional charity model, which is often top-down and, provides temporary aid. But the PPAF model, it's the complete opposite. It is built from the ground up, and it's all about long-term self-sufficiency. It's not about giving someone a handout. It's about giving them the tools and support to build their own way forward. But like a lot of great innovations, PPAF's model wasn't just built from some perfect blueprint. Nope, it was forged in crisis. The organization's early days were really defined not by their original plans, but by how they responded to a massive national disaster. This timeline really shows how PTWF had to adapt under pressure. So it starts in 2000, focused on microfinance, small loans. But then the devastating 2005 earthquake hits, and that was a huge turning point. PTWF's reconstruction effort was so massive, it forced them to think bigger, and that led to this radical idea in 2008. They realized that the poorest of the poor, the ultra-poor, were so far behind they couldn't even afford a tiny loan. So they tried something totally different, giving them productive assets for free. And that was an absolute game changer. And that little pilot program from 2008, it ended up becoming the absolute core of PPAF's entire strategy. This is where they basically turned poverty alleviation from an art into a science, creating what's now known all over the world as the graduation model. Okay, so how do they find the people who need this very specific kind of help the most? Well, they don't guess. They use this incredibly precise data-driven tool called the Poverty Scorecard. It gives a numerical score to a household based on their living conditions, and PPAF zeroes in on those at the very, very bottom, the ones with scores between 0 and 11. And this all feeds into a really clear four-step process. First, they identify the ultra-poor with that scorecard. Second, they provide a productive asset for free. Could be livestock, a sewing machine, anything like that. Third, they train the person on how to actually use that asset to make a profit. And finally, and this part is so crucial, they mentor them for months to make sure they succeed and don't fall back. It's a complete wraparound support system. So you're probably wondering, how do they manage all of this on the ground? Well, it's through this brilliant community-led structure. It starts with these small neighborhood groups, which then join together to form village-level organizations, and those combine into larger support organizations. The names aren't that important. What's important is what this structure does. For the first time, it gave a powerful collective voice to the most isolated communities, and it was especially huge for empowering rural women to stand up and advocate for themselves. So, with this proven model powered by the grassroots, PPAF didn't just stay a local partner. It scaled up and up and up to become the main engine for carrying out the government's very own national poverty reduction programs. Yeah, think about that for a second. This model worked so well and its reach was so incredible that PPAF became the government's most trusted partner. It's now the lead agency for the whole country's national poverty graduation program. The government is basically saying, your model works, now let's take it national. And as you can see right here, this is about so much more than just giving someone a single asset. It's a totally holistic approach. I mean, just look at the scope here. Everything from livelihood and infrastructure to clean energy, education, and health. It's about building strong, resilient communities from every possible angle. So, after more than 2 decades of doing this, what does the impact actually look like? What's the bottom line? Let's get into the numbers. The reach is just immense. PPAF is now working in 144 districts across Pakistan. I mean, to put that in perspective, that is pretty much every corner of the country. We're talking from the highest, most remote mountain valleys all the way down to the vast southern plains. And how do they pull off that incredible reach? By being smart. PPAF doesn't try to do everything by itself. Instead, it empowers this massive network of over 130 local partner organizations. These are the groups who are already on the ground, who know their communities inside and out. And the human impact? It's just staggering. More than 1.16 million people have received critical skills training through these programs. That's over 1 million people who now have the tools, the knowledge, and the confidence to build a better future for themselves and their families. And this number right here really shows how forward-thinking they are, because you can't fight poverty without tackling energy poverty. PPF has helped generate over 11 megawatts of clean, renewable energy. This isn't just about turning on lights. It's about giving kids light to study by, giving small businesses power to operate, and bringing brand new opportunities to some of the most isolated communities in the country. So when you look back from a simple fund to what's essentially a national poverty laboratory, PPFAS journey is just a powerful case study. Their motto really says it all: restoring hope, securing the future, ending poverty. And it kind of leaves us with this big takeaway, that maybe the most powerful way to fight poverty isn't with a handout, but with a toolkit, giving people the power to write their own success stories.